How much was y'all's first check?
My first contract. Hold on, let's see.
If there's an opportunity to leverage a 1099 situation where you can make a little bit more cheese, I would definitely lean into it.
I don't know how this office working. I don't know where the material's at. I ain't spent a week with this assistant yet. I don't know where the pitfalls are. So it's like, you don't know to look at the down say day collections at 65%.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
I used to win, penthouse or something like that out of school. We had funds for them. I stayed around the corner from the penthouse. Like, I'm
right there.
Oh, you know how that right? What's the dollar for you? Been like the first 2 years or something.
I mean, what I wanted and what I needed are two different things. How much was y'all's first check? What was that first contract that y'all signed? How much was it?
Man, my first contract wasn't even really a contract. Hold on, let's see. I mean, looking back on it, it feels like it really wasn't. Like, it was, it was cheap, man. But honestly, it was just because being part-time, especially, I'm just being honest.
Drake was what he was.
Yeah, no, I was happy to be done with school.
Yeah.
We still had, luckily, being Tyler still had some break from there for future GDS, so it was like kind of a bridge. And then I was part time, bro, just like figuring out what type of office I wanted to work at. So I didn't want to jump into a contract where I had to work 5-6 days a week, part time. 2 part time offices. One was Monday, Wednesday, the other one was Tuesday, Thursday. Daily guarantee. I think it was like $875 a day. Which wasn't bad. It's like first coming out. I don't know. I didn't know otherwise. No way. I just knew I had a place to go on Monday through Thursday. Right. Yeah. I say the first contract was probably with like 150 to like 35. It's cool. Feeling something going, especially coming from like the part-time gigs, it was cool. But like, obviously after working, the numbers look different, but the way the conversation works should be the opposite. So it's cool though. I think it was definitely worth it because it didn't push me to strive so much to feel like I had to hit a number, but also being comfortable enough to feel like if I don't necessarily develop these fast, especially in school, I'll be alright.
Yeah. Mine was I signed with the private office. But before I did that, though, I did temp first. So I temp first. And tipping, I was kind of trying to figure out what exactly I like. I felt like that was an important play. The tipping probably not as good as it was during that time. But like during that time, man, you could easily get like $1,200, $1,500 a day. You know what I'm saying? So I worked at a couple different offices. I temped a lot. And then my first real contract was with a private office, and it was really eat what you kill. She put me on a daily rate just because she wanted to get me better. So my daily rate was like $1,000, $10.99, and 35% of collections. So it was the greater of the two. And that's kind of, I walked into that situation, but yeah, she put me on that early on. I guess she wanted to get me the speed up. Then after that, the 90-day trial period with 1,000. After that, it was purely 35% of what's collected.
My first contract was CPS. I mean, all in all, I'm definitely grateful. I came from Dentistry school in Boston, Spencer, we had no cheese.
They got you.
I ain't had it. But first contract, I got $700. Granted. And they said, we understand where we all come from. So I'm like, cool. But I know, I was like, this ain't even $12 at all. So I used that opportunity somewhere to kind of just get some skills, have that security blanket. But as soon as I started working, this is what allowed me to start working on weekends. Like, man, 700 ain't gonna do it. It's been especially, this when you find different offices doing different things. But this was corporate. So.
Was that 700 W-2?
This was 700 W-2. So
very important to know that. Very important to know that.
why I thought my first check was a disappointment.
Okay, so before I say my number, I want us to all put things in perspective. We're coming out of school with 500,000 around that. So
Up there.
up there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please. We have no money.
We have no money. I mean, you know, we do our work, but
Right.
500,000 in debt. And so, Terrell and I, we had a platform. And so I had an established relationship with a corporation, whatever it may be. And so moving to Atlanta, I had gotten a base guarantee of 180, and I had gotten a sign-on bonus of 50,000. So I thought I was rich. It was great. But I quickly learned about taxes. I quickly learned about how those bonuses were taxed. And granted, ultimately, still super blessed for sure. But it definitely learns a lot in my sure.
Yeah. I think that the next segue to that is just like understanding the difference between W-2 and 1099.
Yeah, man, it's got a contract.
Y'all know your contract. And I think like one thing, it was a positive and a negative, but it was a positive for me was that the first business that I worked with, first office I worked with, I only worked 3 days, right? So it was my first contract. I worked 3 days. And because I worked 3 days, the head doctor there said, we're going to put you as 1099. So when she was explaining the whole 1099 versus W-2, she was basically like, look, man, make sure you got your LLC set up. Make sure you have your own business bank account set up. And then what we're going to do is pay your business. And, you know, you take care of taxes on your own, right? Now, was she supposed to do that? I don't know. Let's be clear. I don't know what she was supposed to do. But I realized, like, the discrepancy, man. I realized, like, that's really the way to kind of be leaning into it, if possible, right? So that's the thing about doing the temping. Being able to work in that 1099 where you can see all your bread and it's getting paid to an entity. Now you can kind of move things around when it comes to, like, how you pay yourself, other expenses, different write-offs, etc.
Taxes.
Yeah, so like so like I think early on, you know, if you're getting a great associate position and it makes sense for you, sure. But if there's an opportunity to leverage a 1099 situation where you can make a little bit more cheese, I would definitely lean into that.
And that's the importance of having friends, right?
100%.
Because Devontae came back and told us, and he was like, hey, this is what I'm doing over here. And we was all like, hold on. We showing each other our checks. We see how many taxes we're taking out. And he said, no. This is what this practice is doing for me. Y'all should look into this.
Right.
And then, of course, that opened up us looking more and more into different situations. And so, yeah, I mean, it's always worth being transparent with your friends, especially.
There you go.
Because, I mean, all tides rise the boats or whatever it may be.
Yep.
And so that was fun. I just remember like seeing your check, seeing our checks. Something was off. Something was off. So it was interesting for sure.
One thing I'll add in, I want to get y'all perspectives too. So with the 1099, let's say with W-2. Either way it goes, even with W-2 and 1099s, I feel like as an associate, there is a cap.
Sure.
Right? So based on you guys' work, you know, and things you're doing, when it comes to just bread-wise, as an associate, what do you feel like the top end and low end of an associate position looks like? So what do you feel like the least amount you would make as an associate versus the top of an associate? Somebody.
We're talking about first year?
Not me.
There's different levels.
You can break it up. Yeah.
First year?
I would say first year.
What's a reason? Let me break it up. So what's a reasonable ask for a new student coming out of school?
Okay.
Like no residency, fresh out of school. What should they be looking to get? And what would you try to get if you was a new student coming out of school?
Reasonable, I think 180.
I think 180. 180 to make that work.
Reason. I
But
think
also depends on where you live. What patient.
What are you? Can you produce?
You're not good.
Like, let's
When you hear how much everybody else is making, so you're like, well, I want this cheese soup, but it's like, what you gonna do when you get it? We're gonna mess somebody's mouth up.
And that's the thing. And I think a lot of dentists or, you know, young dentists, I mean, we're so young, but I think they get to this bag where they're like, oh, this office wants me to do XXX that I'm not comfortable with. And it's like, no. You wanted to make this amount of money, and now you can't necessarily produce. And therefore, they're looking at you like, we thought you could do these things. And when you tell them you can't expect them to continue to pay this high salary.
Don't be mad when that shoe drop in levels.
And that's the thing.
That's the thing.
So would you say that a new student coming out should go for a daily rate or try to lean into like eat what you can?
I personally think they should lean into eat what you can only because they're going to make them better.
See,
I really agree.
When you go for a daily
rate,
you can get comfortable.
Daily rate.
bro, you're understanding.
No, absolutely.
Daily rate gives you a safety net of like, I know I'm not gonna be fast. I don't know how this office work. I don't know where the material's at. I ain't spending a week with this assistant yet. I don't know where the pitfalls are. So it's like, if I come in and they're like, all right, well, eventually gonna get paid off collections. You don't know to look at a P&L and say their collections is 65%.
You don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Now instead of getting a daily rate, say you would have got $1,500 on a day, or $1,000 on a day per daily rate. Now your 65% is $650.
Well,
and you just went to work. You feel me?
Does that daily rate make people complacent?
I think in the beginning, no. I think it feels very good to know, okay, I have a practice that's backing me, it's supporting me, and I don't have to worry about because if you worry, they can have 50. They're tripping.
Yeah, that's my opinion. And let me put it off now. I guess I'm thinking more so, I don't want to just be a daily rate. I want to be maybe a daily rate, then you kind of even should care the grade up the two.
If
If you have to pick one or the other, then that's when it's like, if you have the proper guidance, someone letting you know, okay, this is a great office. Their collections are at like 95%. You went to residency, or let's say you didn't go to residency. They're doing, let's say the office is averaging 15 crowns a week. Then you know, okay, you can kind of somewhat calculate what you'll be getting that show. But if there's any opportunity where you get a daily rate and a grade over two, absolutely go with that. Even if it's a less over 2 months for your daily rate, just so you're comfortable, you know your bills are being paid. But if you can do something where you kind of have an opportunity, you can as well, it's going to make you a better dentist. I think that like can make us, it's also too long. Yeah, the Dallas has been a rat race for too long.
I think most contracts are like that. But then again, I don't know, because I really only worked for one real corporate practice. But even with that being said, and that kind of segues to this point, how much do you need?
Well, I'll say this: get as much as they can give you.
For sure.
I would lean into. I'm gonna say this: even if you're not skilled, I would say as much as possible to make it feel like you skilled to get as much money as possible for them folks. So I'll tell you this: your first contract, you should be leveraging getting more skills.
For sure.
Right? So if you're leaning into going, just say you go on corporate route. You go corporate route, man, a lot of these corporate routes got different type of avenues to get implants under your belt, to get other CEs to understand occlusion, to understand, to do Invisalign, to get better at surgical extractions. I would squeeze everything possible out of that corporation, every resource they got.
And put that in your contract.
And try to put that in your contract to where they support that.
Sure.
If you go into a private situation, I would try to get the highest daily rate possible.
For the amount of time.
100%, man. I would
Because
go
they
ahead
want
and
to
set,
on 3 months.
I would set it as high as possible. I would go in as confident as possible. And, let them be surprised when you can do something.
Yeah.
How about that? How about going there and you be like, I thought you said you could do root canals. You're like, look, man.
I thought I could.
I just type of that. Let them, let you be locked into a situation where you got the leverage.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would try your best to get the highest leverage possible and go from there. If possible, I would also try to see if, you kind of explain to a doctor that you really want to commit to them long term, right? Like, you ain't got to be overly pressing them about, like, I want to go into ownership. Just saying, look, man, I want to get better, right? So how about we put together a shorter term contract, right? Like with shorter, like, terms that only speaks to specific things. Like, I want to be on this daily rate for 6 months. Then after the 6 months, let's reevaluate what I produced, how I did, et cetera, et cetera. Then let's come back to the drawing board with a new contract. And then I'll stay let's put that contract for 18 months. And based on what I do the first 6 months and how I rise to the occasion, if I got better or not. I just feel like, man, you don't gotta dive into these like concrete, you know, one size fit all contracts just because they put it in front of you. You know what I mean? As a dentist, there's a ton, like, we don't have, like, there's a lot of jobs.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in a recession-proof business. So it's a lot of jobs. You don't got to settle. But I think it's important to kind of set yourself up and have them honest conversations. Try to feel like, you know, you want to feel like it's worth coming to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to feel like they robbing you, right? Like, you got to be like, all right, look, man, like, this money makes sense for me. For my patient load that I'm doing, this makes sense. I'm comfortable.
Sure.
And go from there.
And I promise. And also with this, keep in mind, y'all, bluegrass, the jump from 150 to 170,
You don't feel it.
20,000 is a lot of money, but that jump, you're not feeling it. I promise you, that you will feel it when you learn how to do med plans. That 150 turns into a 300.
Yeah.
And so keep that in mind. If you're able to go and get the education and become competent in placing implants, or even just doing even molar endo, really getting competent in molar endo, that will take you so much further. So I know it's easy to just jump and try to get as much money as possible. If you are able to grab those skills, that will take you so much farther. And your backwired, because we'll be able to work less.
So go back to asking the question that was just asked me today. That's when that question about how much can an associate make? What's the number? What you think? Everybody gets
So okay, all right, some real.
At the top end, the ceiling. I've seen this one guy, man, that I work with. I've never seen anybody work like this guy, and he probably did on the high end as an associate. He probably did. I put him at like 550.
I say I wasn't gonna guess that number.
I give him about 5. I seen it. He was an animal.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna put.
That's few and far in between.
Very few and far between. I put him at like 5 W2. 5 and some change W2 for sure. For sure.
I said a 6.
Okay. I was thinking like 440 maybe. That's close.
Yeah. Yeah.
High
High end.
As an associate.
I mean, I guess, well,
I for sure have seen 600.
probably, I guess an associate.
600 to 99.
550. 550 W2.
Now listen, I will say, disclaimer, everybody watching, disclaimer. Everybody that's doing, if you're an associate doing over 400, you're an animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some animals out here.
If
If you're an associate doing over 400, you're an animal. You know what I mean? And there's certain people that are just animals.
Right.
You
As
know
an
me.
associate.
And a
And
lot of
you know
times
me.
you got to be in the right system to get to those numbers.
100%,
Gotta be
right?
right.
So what does that look like?
Gotta be
The
right.
doctors that I know that are animals, they're in like maybe 7, 8 op practices. They're the only doctor,
High collection.
right? High collection,
High profile cases.
high profile cases, but also like they're doing everything.
Yes.
They're doing molar endo.
Yes.
They're doing implants. They're doing reconstruction cases. They're doing all on X. Like majority of the time, if a doctor's doing 400 plus as an associate, they're a super GP. They do everything. You know what I mean? So I think take that in consideration when we talk about these other people. Outside of that, people who like if they don't do those things, whatever, you got a normal life as a dentist and you kind of take what they give you, you looking at probably like 200 to 300.
So I can't look for out of it. They're gonna kick me.
200 to 300.
How many people text us all the time saying, well, I don't want to do more, but I ain't doing it.
Well, you will not
First
make
time-
400,000 plus.
Nah.
You hear it. I want it.
You're not hitting 400,000 plus.
promise.
Unless you're doing all that,
Extract the media.
or doing like got a ton of veneer
The
cases.
implant.
But it's gonna be tough for you all to get that coming straight out of school. Because at that point, you know, that doctor has built up their clientele. So that specific doctor is who these patients are going to see. They may not want to see someone who's fresh out of school. But guess who they will see for a root canal? Anybody.
Anybody who'll get
And that's why I think that's
So you gotta break that habit, get out the mind.
that's a very important point that you putting on is like, I think you start thinking about the bread coming through your hands. All right, cool. Yes, the $20,000, $30,000 case is a great opportunity when it's dope. But like, there's gonna be a lot of like $3,000 root canal cases that's gonna come through your hands daily because people are in emergency help. And I feel like people don't understand that you can stack those, build real rapport with people, build a relationship, patients build trust with you, and then you can get that same patient to do that $30,000 case.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there has to be an entry level point to get somebody to trust you to do that. If you haven't built a portfolio for people to be able to know that you do that type of work. Right?
Sure.
Like, they gotta be able to have some type of rapport with you or see your stuff going on. So, I don't know, man.
Again, you have to know what you want to do.
True.
Because you can't go out there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna just learn these molar endo so I can get this bag," and you that's just not where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
So, because there's some people out there. I know a couple people that are doing nothing but Invisalign all day, every day,
Crushing.
going 350, 375, but they ain't doing nothing but scams. You see what I'm saying? They really don't touch hand pieces, or maybe even more than that. So it's just very interesting to see how it goes that way. You got to know what you want to do so that you can hone in on it, obviously get good at it. But I think the industry is like all about the niche, man. Like once you start niching down and getting real specific, really good at something really specific, you get you're obviously gonna make more. That's why specialists like all what they do. Or if you can be a super GP that can do the cusp of everything and be confident with doing the cusp of everything, I think that's when you can hit that, push that button and really go to the next level.
100%.
You know what I mean? That molar endo extraction, immediate implant, third molar extraction, veneer, like if you could do it all to a above average standard, you don't have to be the specialist taking care of the calcified number 18, you know what I mean? Nothing like that. So I think once you start getting to those outskirts, that gray area, that niche area, that's where you can start pushing those buttons. So takes kind of as an associate to get to those kind of upward.
Just stay humble, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you have to stay humble because dentistry will humble you. And the last thing that you want to do is chasing that dollar and then put yourself in a position where you can't get out of it and things can escalate very quickly.
When we're talking about chasing dollar, what's the good dollar? What was the dollar for you? Then like the first 2 years or so out of school.
I mean, what I wanted and what I needed are two different things.
Absolutely. We always gonna.
Man, what you plug your bread on there?
You know we want more.
What you plug bread?
So, I mean, I think...
You know, like, let me cut you off. You know what I think? I think a better way to look at it is how much you need a month.
That's true.
Okay.
Because if you say, like, I want this amount a year, it kind of, like, it's like...
Things happen.
Yeah, bro. And I'm going to tell you, I think the spot that I was looking at was always like, I need at least about 20 a month. That's where I was at. That was like a comfortable spot for me. I was like, I need a 20 actually hitting my account a month.
Okay, boom. We stop. Watch this. Break down the 20.
What do you mean? What that means?
What you spending that 20 on?
Oh, well,
Yeah. Checklist.
Yeah, so I think for me, my 20 broke down into like expenses. So when I say expenses, car, crib, food,
And
essentials, that's like 10 for me.
Okay.
For me. And then the other 10 is just like what we doing with it. You know what I mean? Like we putting it to work. Yeah, saving, putting it to work, or doing whatever. But like my overhead about bro, my overhead high. Bro, my overhead high. And we always talk about that. That's just my personal preference. I've been like that from the beginning, like high overhead, bro. You know what I'm saying? But even that, I'll say this. When you first get out of school, if you feel comfortable moving back home and your family will allow you to stay at their house, your first year of dental school, first year of actual work, post-grad, I would live at home for sure. Pay no bills.
So So you didn't. I know I did.
I did.
You did. So 3 out of the 4 of us were fortunate enough to be able to go home.
And stack a bag.
And that was a blessing. But I mean, obviously, everybody don't get the opportunity. But
Yes.
if you can
Go home.
humble yourself and go home.
Go home.
I think go home, humble yourself and understand that your time will come.
For sure.
I could easily went, penthouse or something like that. I'm sure, we had
Yeah.
funds for it, but I stayed around the corner from the penthouse. Like, I
All right, hey.
don't need all that right now, because
I'm telling you.
so understand where you are and
Do not flex that first year because
Please,
again,
sir.
a lot of times your contract probably not that hefty, right? But
You
think about
don't
it,
know that 150 not coming out like a 150.
That
180 not coming out like a 180.
it's not that
Talk
much,
about it.
It's not that much bread, so it's kind of like, you know what? Listen, that first year, it's so, and the thing about it, it's so hard because you done spent so much time trying to become a doctor. Now you want to show that you are a doctor, right? Listen, that first year, stack everything, live below your means at least for 1 year.
please.
Like, get a functional apartment that makes sense. I personally wouldn't even, if you don't have a car, of course you got to get it lit. I wouldn't even overly go smack on any of that.
Please
You don't
don't.
have to. For that first year at least, just to stack. It's no reason why, like, truthfully, you should be able to stack at least 50,000.
Oh, and then
At least.
and
Your
that's the
first
thing.
year of school, first
Only
year coming out of
exception if you're super aggressive in paying back loans.
yeah, and I wouldn't even do that.
That's all.
That's how I don't know how about that. And I say loans outside of that, like let's take loans out of it. I would live below my means. You should minimally be able to stack $50,000 your first year out of dental school without even thinking about it.
And let's keep in mind, you said live like a doctor. To everybody who's trying to do a flex, do whatever they want to do, you being a doctor is enough.
100%.
Promise you.
100%.
I promise you. You don't need to get the whip. You don't need the pin.
You got nothing to prove.
I promise you, it's enough. That's what I found. Nothing else. Please stack your bread. It will save you.
Yeah, well,
I will say
The sick day is coming.
I promise you.
one key thing I did do first year out. When I got that first check, or really just when I started seeing them come in, I think the biggest thing was I'm not a financial expert. You feel me? Like you can't be a financial expert and know how to chop the check, make sure you're doing it the right way, where to save it, if you want to invest, what to invest in, things like that. So I think it's good to talk to somebody.
I disagree.
I think it's good to talk to someone. You don't necessarily have to go with what their recommendations are, but you should have an idea of what to do with this money. Because if not, you're gonna some people just let it sit there.
That's like YouTube.
Somebody that's been in those shit.
just save.
Hey, let me take this.
I'm gonna tell you what.
I'm gonna take it to a west.
I'm
gonna take
now
it
start
to
doing
West.
stock options.
Don't turn into a day trader.
Hey,
That's what they
please.
do. Don't
Not turn into a day trader.
Oh, that, hey.
Go to school for money, used to be a doctor.
What do you do?
Go trade. You're gonna lose all your money.
You do want to learn how to buy stocks, though. You do want to learn how to do these things. I think because not everybody is like Devontae. Not everybody is super entrepreneurial and like any idea comes to your head.
Sure.
If you have extra capital, like you know how to implement, you know how to like distribute that cash to make sure
Right,
it's
right.
worth it, right? So the average person coming out of dental school, they go to work, they go home,
Yeah.
they enjoy the weekend. They need a financial advisor.
No, they don't.
They may not need a financial advisor, but you need to have a financial game plan.
Yeah.
Of
Yes,
like how
I'll give you that.
And that could be just budgeting. Make sure you're doing
High limit savings.
30,
Mutual funds.
720.
Index.
BOO, VTI. That's all you need.
But you're saying these things as if people know what that is. Like no one knows what that is, bro.
Let's go YouTube. I'm
Bro,
telling y'all.
you're saying this, bro. You gotta think about 80% of the dental school population that we went to school with either was getting cashed out, like
Fair.
probably, aren't maybe not the most financially responsible. And then the other people were not even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really care regardless.
I think you should ask somebody who's been in those shoes more than financial advice because they haven't been in our shoes. They may have touched some of the money just in terms of helping other people. But I think it's nothing like learning from someone that is somewhere that you want to do. In my opinion. Say, let's say that you have a mentor doc, quote unquote, okay, he's practicing maybe doing $3-4 million a year. Okay, well, what should I do at this stage? What mistakes did you make? You got to be transparent if you want to grow, and that's what I think can really kind of help you.
Yeah.
That's your fun.
Definitely assume that you're not special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think when you get that cheese, you definitely should just be like, at the minimum, high yield savings. Tuck that in that. If you want to get nifty on some investing, index funds, S&P,
Small percentage of
basic type thing. But yeah, I wouldn't get cute. I wouldn't get cute. See,
it's a long race. Life is a long race.
Because watch this. It all comes down to, right? At a certain point, you might want to go into ownership, right? You might want to go into these things. And what you had in savings is a part of the evaluation for what type of loan you get, how much you get approved for, right? So they're gonna, regardless, they're generally gonna approve you, but like they definitely gonna look at bank statements. They gonna look at how much liquid you have. They're gonna look at credit score. They're gonna look at a lot of things. So I think that coming out of school, taking everything into consideration, there's a very important time, that first year, 2 years, just get financially healthy.
Yeah.
Right? Stack some bread, get that credit score nice and polished. You know what I'm saying? Maybe take out some good credit cards, pay them down really well. Just get a good, solid financial basis, because then that just puts you in a position to, like, for whatever decision you want to make. If that's ownership, if that's just like setting you up to buy a crib, like you might want to buy a house, right? So you got an opportunity to get a physician's loan, right? So with your physician's loan, you don't got to sit the family house. You could get a duplex. You could get a quad. You could do a lot of things. In having that liquid capital helps with those rates and things like that. So, yeah, man, that's my perspective.
I mean, and maybe this is just us looking back on it, like hearing the conversation of how people did it. It's like there's so many other ways outside of liquid cash where your money could work for you while you're waiting to use it or trying to, like, allocate that bread. It's like, yeah, like you said, high yield savings account. But like, you could borrow against your assets. You know what I mean? You could leverage your assets, which is always the smartest thing to do, but you have to do it the right way, right? Like if you're going to take the risk and put your money up anyway, it's like if it goes down, I'll just sell all the stuff that I have and give them anyway. So it's not really. It's just like how are you holding it, right? I'd rather hold my money and stuff than that. I feel like no growth, and I don't have to be actively thinking about, like, day to day. What I have to do today. What are the top 5 things I got to check off to make sure my money's getting put in the right place. If I have the system in place, it's not on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? It's on autopilot until you get to that point where, okay, maybe I need to move some stuff around. But, again, that's why it's like it's important to talk to the people that, that have done it, been there.
So even with that being said, I want to, just closing out everything, I want to say, I want everybody just to go around and give their number one tip for new grads when it comes to that first check, when you first start touching money. What would your number one tip be?
I think the first tip is live below your means, right? Tyler made a good point. Being a doctor is enough, right? You have nothing to prove to nobody. So I think if you could get into a situation where you can save a lot of money that first year out, right? Live below your means, save as much money as possible, and just become financially healthy, right? Like, of course, take some trips and take a vacation or two, but like, I would live like you're still in dental school that first year. And that year is going to go by so fast. Like, I think that, you think it's like, damn, I worked this hard. Why am I not being able to live how I want to live? But that year is such a very minimal sacrifice that it's going to set you up. Like, your trajectory after that is going to be crazy. Because, I mean, depending on your situation, you could probably even save close to 6 figures. Like, close to 100,000 if you aggressively approach it. And it's like, okay, you got $100,000 saved your first year out of school. Now, okay, it doesn't matter what you do, right? You can go buy the crib. You can go, get the whip. You can kind of go do whatever. I think it's very important to live below your means when you first get out of school, your first check.
Well, what I want to say is, first check, won't touch it. That's simple. And the reason I say that is because one, I'm a pretty frugal person, so the reason why I'm leaning into saying don't touch it is at the very least, so the worst case scenario, that's the lowest amount of money you have. Know that, worst, let's say whatever that number may be, you come to a tough time, you need some money. This is what I can get if I work for 2 weeks. So then also it's helping you learn where am I going. It kind of helps with direction. So, 3-4 years from now, it's like, okay, my first check out, this is what I got. So I know at the least of everything, this is what I can get. If all else fails, if I need any type of emergency funding, all else fails, and someone may not trust me as a business, whatever the case may be, this is what I'll get. So it's just a constant reminder so we know to continue to elevate yourself. First check, don't touch. Second check, then maybe you want to kind of start learning how to kind of do things like the first check.
I would say a good thing to do is have a preliminary game plan before you even see the money come in. But once you see the money come in, especially coming from a situation where you're not seeing money come in and you're seeing the money come in and if you're getting a refund that's going right back out to rent, and you pretty much, you're really working on the budget before that, right? So when you finally get a little bit of money, you feel like you got a little bit of freedom. You want to take that trip, you want to treat your mom, dad, whoever helped you. You want to take that big trip and buy that car. Have a game plan, right? It's not a bad thing to buy the car, but if you're gonna buy the car, maybe stay at home, right? Or if you're gonna try not to have that crib, because you got family coming or whatever. You and your wife, your husband you're getting married and trying to build a house. Don't buy the car.
Right.
You know what I mean? The car is the worst idea you could probably come up with, right? Or if your main goal is to buy into a practice and you already have that situation set up, stash the bread into more cash, maybe something more liquid. So have a game plan. Think about 5 years from now. What do you want it to look like? Where do you want to be? If I had to push a button, like how would I want to be able to implement cash? Right? Do I want to have it safe in commodities or something? Do I want to have it safe in stocks? Do I want to have it safe or more easily available to use? So what do I want to do? How do I want to move? What do I want it to look like for me? Do I want to be a high burn monthly guy? Do I want to be a very frugal like Dio? Like it's crazy that you guys work together and y'all on opposite respective plays. That would just show you the trajectory.
Sure.
When you get that check, take 50% of it after taxes and all that, save and invest, and go and do a compound interest calculator. And I tell you, the difference over the years is exponential. We're talking, it's insane. Just go play with that compound interest calculator. You'll see what I'm talking. Start investing as soon as possible. We're gonna stay on.
Man, another episode of Never Seen It.
Yeah. That's it.
Episode 2, baby.
Yes.
See y'all next time.